One thing I'll say about February's energy is that Aquarius is the main character. Hola, beautiful souls. Welcome back or welcome to my channel, where we aim to use astrology, spirituality, and wellness as self-development tools to become our highest selves every day. If that sounds like something you're interested in, be sure you don't forget to subscribe and follow me on Instagram for more updates and background content. Today is all about the overall energy of February. These are the days and the transits in February that I think are going to be some of the most crucial to pay attention to energetically. Not only are we in Aquarius season, but you'll see what I mean through this video about why Aquarius is the main character of February. Like, Aquarius is not playing around, and Pisces comes into a close second. As always, my aim is to make you energetically aware of what may be going on this month so you can better pivot and customize your schedule accordingly. I'm not saying anything negative about the energy. I never am. We aim to use this productively. We aim to use it for self-development and self-empowerment, not negativity. The first important date that I have written down for February is February 9th. The reason being, this is when we have the new moon in Aquarius, but it is also the Chinese New Year, which I think is very important to note here as we all get so focused on moving into 2024 based on our new year. But the Chinese New Year is just beginning, and then we also have the beginning of Aries season coming up about a month and a half, almost 2 months after that. So this is a time for reflection and renewal overall. So I want to make that very clear. A big theme this month, including this new moon, is going to be basically prepping yourself, really having deep reflection with yourself. That way you can catapult yourself when that new spring energy comes into play. Yes, you can get started on your goals. You can continue with your goals anytime that you want, especially now the energy is potent, everyone is motivated, but it is not your last chance, and it is important that you do not negate the reflection needed in order to move forward. So while the moon is at its new moon phase and in Aquarius, it will also be conjunct Mercury, the planet of communication, and it will be forming a loose conjunction with Pluto as well, which, as you know, Pluto just moved into Aquarius. This is extremely significant and will be significant energy for the next 20 years. I do have a video all about that transit. If you haven't watched it, be sure you watch it. I'll link it in the cards above. But before we continue with the reading, I want to talk to you guys about something that I think will really help you all navigating the astrological energy and just the energy in general, especially because you know I love doing these astrological energy readings, but I do not do them all the time, and I do not currently provide one-on-one readings of my own. But that's okay, because that's where Keen comes in. Thank you, Keen, for sponsoring today's video. But I want to present Keen to you guys because I use Keen personally to gain clarity whenever I have little questions nagging at me that I just need reaffirming. I just need confirmation. And Keen is amazing for that, because all you have to do is you can hop on the app or the website where they have a multitude of talented psychics, tarot readers, and of course, astrologers waiting for you to select whichever one fits you depending on what type of reading you want. Anything from love readings, money readings, career readings, whatever you want clarity on, Keen makes it super easy to get a reading that's right for you. All you have to do is create an account, and you'll be able to choose from the hundreds of readers who are online right now. Each reader has a profile where you can see their unique gifts that are designed to help you navigate your own life. So renew your well-being now. There is a reader online waiting specifically for your needs on Keen. Go to the link, trykeen.com/Marisa, or click on that link in the description that I provide in order to get your first 5-minute reading for just $1 on Keen. Thank you again, Keen, for sponsoring this video. But the fact that we just entered the Pluto in Aquarius transit, and now the new moon in Aquarius is kicking us off with a conjunction to Pluto and a conjunction to Mercury, the planet of communication, we're really being called to start leaning into practicality and logic in our emotional affairs. Even though it can be a very motivationally charged time, everybody's moving into their new goals, everybody, for the most part, is motivated. We also have the extreme opposite energy that can be taking place, which is seasonal depression and getting very deep into our emotions, feeling heavy sadness and loneliness. And that isn't all bad. You know why? Because emotions like that signify us where we need to lean towards healing in our lives. And the new moon is really trying to get you to move forward and take action by starting to look at things a bit more practically. Instead of wallowing in your emotions for the rest of the season,
do something about it.
Where do you need to apply more practicality in your life? Where do you need to maybe write some things down, reflect on how you're feeling, and then figure out how you can reconstruct that and move forward with it? Mercury is all about how we process information, how we communicate information. So having the moon conjunct Mercury at this time, it could be a great time to somehow communicate those emotions you've been having, or not even just communicate them, but transmute them into something mentally and emotionally productive. We're really being asked to tie in mental and emotion. And the main reason that mentality and practicality and somehow figuring out how to progress is so vital right now is because of that Aquarian energy. Aquarius typically does not want to just surrender and call it quits. Aquarius wants to figure out how they can do something different. So if things have not been working for you, if you've been in a depression of some sort, or maybe even if you just don't feel like you've started off the year strong, what is not working? What is it that you need to reconstruct and reassess and be realistic and be practical about it? It's easy to set the lofty goals. It's harder to actually apply the practical and productive steps to make that lofty goal a reality, but it can be done. You just have to be sure that you're not getting caught up in your emotions attached to the process and the journey, and look at everything a bit more objectively and move forward productively by doing so. That brings me into my next point about the new moon, which is embracing authenticity. Something that you cannot go without when you're talking about Aquarian energy. Aquarius, it's all about authenticity, being unique, embracing what puts you apart from the crowd and no longer suppressing that. Maybe one of the reasons that you haven't had a strong start to your year, one of the reasons that you're slower to start on your goals, one of the reasons why you have seasonal depression, one of the reasons why you feel lonely and sad is because you feel like you're not living authentically. With Pluto moving into Aquarius, being conjunct this moon in Aquarius with Mercury in Aquarius, it's time to speak your authenticity, live your authenticity. And that is not something to take lightly. We throw around the word authenticity and authentic self and everything, but it is so powerful to figure out how you can step into that authentic self, not just imagine them, but really step into them. So again, detaching from the emotions you feel a little bit, instead of feeling so sorry for yourself because you're not living authentically, how can you live authentically from now on? The next date that I have written down for February is February 16th, where we have a significant Aquarius Stellium happening. The reason it is so significant is because we have the Sun, Mercury, Venus, Mars, and Pluto all in Aquarius on this day. Technically, we already had a stellium during the new moon, but now we have a serious 5-planet stellium. I think it's worth noting here that all planets are staying direct throughout February. So this is truly, truly pure, productive energy. The energy will be flowing without interruption, and we would be smart to seize that opportunity to really harness the energy without the interruption of kind of annoying retrogrades. And retrogrades can be like throwing a little rock into the machine, you know? We can get the rock out, but it can be a hassle. We will not have any rocks being thrown into the energetic machine this month. So I think it's important to keep that in mind while I'm talking about this stellium. If you see me looking down, I'm looking at the chart, helping myself reference what I wanted to say. But I think I'm going to put a snapshot of this chart up on the screen for you so you can see what I'm really talking about, because it's actually very wild when you physically see the chart. Let me sip my matcha before I continue talking about this. Okay, I'm ready. Including the Pluto in Aquarius transit that we just officially broke into earlier in January, having all these planets move through Aquarius right at this exact moment, especially after a new moon in Aquarius, we are looking at being called to again live authentically and do something different. And with all these planets putting all their power into Aquarius at this time, it is all about actually taking action on that. A lot of the things that maybe you've been kind of putting off to the side, or you've been ignoring, the things that just haven't been working, the patterns you've been allowing to continue, you're not going to be able to ignore them anymore. You're just not. Aside from Pluto already doing its magic with breaking down things that are not working, we also have the Sun, we have Venus, we have Mars, and we have Mercury. So we have communication, we have planet of material connection, we have planet of actual action and ambition, all within Aquarius. As you can see by looking at the snapshot of the birth chart I'm providing, the planets are all kind of in the same vicinity right now. And this is highly significant because the planets have sort of been moving in a group recently. They've kind of been all moving through similar or nearby signs. Obviously, this is going to change because their orbits are all different. But when, excuse me, computer, but when they actually group together like this, it makes it even more significant because, again, they're not always like this. Their orbits are different. So what I'm really seeing right now is that we're being asked to move to really get in touch with our higher realms of thinking, with crown chakra energy. But you see that the planets are really moving through Aquarius, and then they're going to continue to progress through Pisces, Aries, and Taurus. And if you don't know, astrology, the way that the signs are set up, 1 through 12, Aries being the first, Pisces being the last, it's a natural progression of life. It symbolizes a cycle of life. So Aries represents the newborn, starting new journeys, kind of setting foot in this realm for the first time. Whereas Pisces signifies the person who has been through it all, who has walked miles and miles and miles already, has seen a lot of things, experienced a lot of things, and now you're kind of like the wise hermit, if you will. So the fact that we have the planets going from the higher realms of thinking, from the wise hermit of Aquarius and Pisces, then they're going to be moving into Aries and Taurus. We're really being moved through the process energetically of transmuting higher thinking and intuitive breakthroughs, which might be really happening at this point, and crown chakra epiphanies, which are connected to Aquarius and Pisces. We're being asked to transmute this type of energy into something new for ourselves, into some sort of new beginning. When we're in that realm of Aquarius, we may receive a lot of just very intuitive breakthroughs, or we may find ourselves thinking on a different level that we've never thought before. This is why I say there might be a lot of epiphanies happening for us, a lot of mental breakthroughs of some sort, where maybe when I was speaking previously about things that aren't working, maybe you were not conscious of the things that weren't working. This time, at this point in time, the energy will likely make you conscious of where things aren't working. And that is thanks to Aquarius and all the energy being put into Aquarius. Pay attention to where the energy is shedding light on your life, on what needs to move, what you need to restructure, or what you need to completely leave behind and break out of. Then you need to transmute what you learn from that energy into something new for yourself, into a new chapter of some sort. And that's where the energy of Aries comes into play. And once you've established something new, we can then start making it into something tangible for ourselves, which is the energy of Taurus, the energy of material and tangibility. So it's really moving other realms of thought and higher realms of thought into the physical. This could be very potent manifestation energy, even because we have so much planetary support tapped into those higher realms that maybe we aren't usually connected to. And right now, they're very connected to the physical planets. We have that higher realm thinking from Aquarius connected to Mercury, Venus, Mars. Mercury, again, is the physical mind. Venus is very connected to the material realm. Mars is very much our body and bringing things forward into the world. Next, on February 24th, we have the full moon in Virgo. Now, this is where the Pisces Virgo balance really comes into play this month. So when you have a full moon, the sun is always opposite the moon, and that's what creates a full moon. That's what creates the full, vivid, bright moon that we see in the sky. So that's normal. But at this time, the moon will also be opposing Mercury and Saturn in Pisces. So again, I will probably provide a snapshot of the birth chart so you can see what I mean. But when I looked at the chart at this time, I immediately noticed that harsh red opposition from multiple planets going directly into the moon, feeding directly into the moon in Virgo at this time. Oppositions can be a little bit more of a combative energy between the planets. It's just more so that they're challenging each other in some way. And this is even more significant because Virgo and Pisces are already opposing signs that share the same axis. So they're like two sides of the same coin, but they have different ways of expressing themselves. Virgo can be a little skeptical of Pisces because they are more in tune with the unseen. Pisces can be a little bit put off by Virgo because they think that they're a little bit too focused on the physical and a little too analytical in that way. What this means for a full moon in Virgo and the fact that it's opposing Mercury, the planet of the mind, and Saturn, the disciplinarian, while they're both in Pisces, means that we may experience some more anxious energy around this time. Maybe you were really starting to feel in the flow and like you got something moving, and then for some reason around this time frame, you may start to question everything, start overanalyzing, overthinking. Those are things that both Virgo and Pisces can do in very different ways, but not only because of the energy of Virgo and Pisces, but also because, again, we have Mercury at play, which Mercury amplifies that mental energy. And it also is the ruler of Virgo. So that mental stimulation and that mental anxiety can definitely be increased at this moment in time. Because of this, we might be more likely to take other people's words or actions to heart and really overthink it. We may find that we're leaning towards pessimistic or skeptic thinking as well, because again, we have Saturn at play too, and Saturn can sometimes bring a skepticism in some way. So we really, during this full moon, we are being called to release any leftover rigidity and overthinking we feel in our lives. Like I mentioned earlier in this reading, things that we consider negative emotions, such as feeling sad, are not really negative. They're just signifying something within us that needs healing. And we can almost be thankful for those emotions, even though they feel tough in the moment. We can be thankful for those emotions because they are the direct doorway showing us where we need to heal, or at least starting to breadcrumb us on a path of where we can heal ourselves and therefore become better, and therefore live more authentically as our authentic selves, as Aquarius would want us to do. Release overthinking and rigidity, but also because Saturn is at play here and Saturn is in Pisces while opposing this moon while it's in Virgo, we're really looking at what restraints have also been present in our lives. And restraints can come in a lot of different forms. It can be restraints that we put on ourselves, or it can be external restraints of some sort, or it can be external restraints that we are choosing to allow, such as a toxic relationship, etc. What restraints have been present in your life that need to be released? This is what Saturn is really asking us. And it's also asking us to allow those restraints to resolve and kind of surrender in a way, because this is where the Pisces energy comes into play, where Pisces is challenging you to surrender. Pisces is challenging Virgo to surrender some of that over analysis of everything and that over anxiousness towards everything, release it to something higher. Know that when you remove those restraints and those chains that have been binding you, you are always being carried by a sense of faith and something that you cannot see. That is always there with you, even when you feel like it's not. We are survivors, not just because of our own grit and persistence, but also because there is always something divine carrying us. And if we allow ourselves to lean into it, the divine can carry us with more ease. Pisces is asking you to have a little faith and allow yourself to finally release the limitations and restraints that maybe you've been using as a crutch even. So we really, at the time of this full moon, need to somehow find a balance between the mind and the emotions. Being too much in the mind only creates loops of confusion and narratives that we begin to create that aren't even true most of the time. Pisces energy being channeled through Saturn and Mercury might bring an air of further confusion and illusion if we do remain too stuck in our own head. So you need to do something to get out of your head, maybe some sort of writing activity, speaking to someone you trust about what's been on your mind, embracing some sort of physical movement that brings you back into your body, or even some creative hobby that brings you back into your body and into that connection to the divine. These are all things that are being encouraged by Pisces because any energy that's present can have a good channeling or a bad channeling. So this is a way that you can use this energy and channel it in a more positive way. If you're watching this on YouTube, my camera has officially reached its overheating point, and that is definitely a problem with this new camera that I'm going to have to find solutions to, such as getting maybe an external power adapter of some sort or whatever. But unfortunately, it's really hindering my filming, and so that is why you're not seeing my face right now. We almost made it through the video without it shutting off on me. Last but not least, we have February 28th, where the Sun will be conjunct Mercury and Saturn in Pisces. Just as the Moon, signifying our emotions, came into contact with Mercury and Saturn through oppositions, now the Sun, which is more connected to our core personality and our soul, is going to be coming directly close into contact with Mercury and Saturn in Pisces because the Sun will be moving through Pisces season. So what this means is that the mind will probably be very active, brimming with ideas or inspiration, and with Pisces influence, we need to pay close attention to any sudden epiphanies, dreams, or inspired thoughts that we may have. Perhaps we see something in our daily life that sparks something in us. Write it down so you remember what it is that sparked this inspiration within. Pisces helps us move more into our intuition here, creating a physical connection between our body and soul, which is the Sun and Mercury, and our intuitive feelings, which is Pisces. So really bridging that gap between the body and soul and our intuitive feelings and learning how to incorporate those more closely into our lives. Now, having Saturn here might bring obstacles that you've been avoiding to the forefront of your mind, making it something that you cannot bear to ignore any longer, especially if it's something that has been limiting you in some way. With the influence of Pisces, we might see some old routines or structures in your life fall away or break down that haven't been working or that have been keeping you from being in tune with yourself. I hope this reading really helped kind of summarize and clarify the energy you might be feeling throughout February and leading up to some of the dates I mentioned in February. Overall, we're just really being asked to dissolve boundaries and dissolve old things that are not working in order to step into our authenticity and our highest selves. When you are in the energy of Aquarius and Pisces, you're really being called to the higher realms and to your higher self, and to not be so bound by the physical, by the different things that we obsess over in the physical. That is a huge theme this month, and I look forward to all of us using it productively and positively as we always do. I just hope you enjoyed the reading. Be sure that you like this video so I know that you like the reading and you want more videos like this one. And leave a comment down below if you're feeling any of this energy or any thoughts that you have on the energy yourself. I love to chat with you guys below. But until I see you in the next video, you can watch these videos here that'll help you even more on your self-development journey. I cannot cannot wait to see you next time. I'm really enjoying using this new equipment, even though it's kind of a hassle. See you next time. Adios.